knowledges. Why do I put that up there? Andre?
So we can go back over it?
Because prior means what?
Go back to
Stuff we've done in the past, and it's already, what's knowledge mean? Halir? What does knowledge mean? It's what you know, exactly, what we've learned and what we know. So, prior knowledge, this is what we already know how to do. Raise your hand if you can identify lines and angles. Raise your hand if you can identify lines and angles. Okay, if you'll notice, these up here are the notes pages that I've already given you, right? Okay, so tell me, what does identify mean? What did I tell you identify means, Madison?
Identify means, if you see something, you can just exactly know what it is.
Okay, but identify gave you a word that helps you remember. When you identify something, like when I say Preston, I'm identifying him with his
Name.
There you go, with his name. If you identify something, you're naming it. So we can name lines and angles, what they are. Correct?
Correct.
Give me the 3 ways we can identify lines. Lines. There's 3 ways that we can identify lines. 3 ways that we can identify just lines only. Give me one. No, lines. The 3 ways we can identify lines.
Lines.
Those are lines and rays. 3 ways we can identify lines. As soon as I say it, you guys, I'll give you one. Parallel. Okay. Raise your hand. One way is to name lines is parallel. What's another way? Melanie. Perpendicular. Give me another way, Ernestina. Parallel, perpendicular, and huh? Tell me. Intersecting. So we can identify lines with the words parallel, perpendicular, intersecting, and angles. Okay, when we want to identify angles, what are the names we are going to use to identify angles? What are the names that we can use to identify angles? Melissa? Acute? Right? Obtuse? There's one more.
Straight angle.
Straight angle. Very good. Very good. So you just identified lines and angles. We know how to do that. Now, we have learned how to classify shapes by properties of their lines and angles. Classify shapes. Okay, when you classify something, what are you doing? Raise your hand. When you classify something, what does classify mean? We have one over this. Classify. Aiden.
You name it.
No, that's identify. Look at this. This is classifying. What do we do here? Christian.
You're like telling people what it is, like something like what it is.
No. Okay, remember we started up here, and we could say 1 pair of parallel lines or 2 pair of parallel lines. So if it's here, it went over to this side, and then it went down. So this one's over here by itself, and this one's over. These are over here in a group together. So when you classify something, what are you doing? Kind of putting in a group, or
like you can.
okay, classify is putting it in groups or sorting it. We sort things. So remember, right here, we sorted quadrilaterals. We either said, okay, they're going to be parallelogram, which is 2 pairs of parallel sides, or they're going to come to this side and say trapezoid, which is 1 pair of parallel lines. And then remember that all of these are parallelograms and they're quadrilaterals. Do you guys remember this?
Yes.
Looked like you guys during your test. So this is what we already know, and we're going to be using it today. Now, somebody tell me what we're doing today. Somebody tell me what we're doing today. Yahira.
I can use what I know about lines, angles, and shapes to create a map.
Okay, so I can use what I know, because you already know about lines, angles, and shapes, to create a map. What does create mean? When we create something, what are you doing? What are you doing when you create something? Sai, give it a good guess. Invent something. Or when you, Alir, when you make something. So what are we making today? We're going to make a map. Can you tell me what's a map? What's a map? When I say let's make a map, what is a map, Jason?
It's something that gives you directions to like go to where you want.
Yeah, it gives you directions. It shows you where things are. Very good. So we are going to create a map today. So you guys get to draw. You guys like to draw, don't you? Okay, just to go over these vocabulary words that we just did and show you some pictures to help you remember. Parallel, and I'll have these up here when you're creating your map. Parallel lines. Yes. Perpendicular lines. What does perpendicular lines have to have? What does a perpendicular lines have to have? What do those squares mean? Right angles. Perpendicular lines have to cross to make right angles. So that's why those 4 squares are in the corner. Then intersecting lines, yeah, kind of an X. They don't make perfect right angles. Okay, a polygon. We have talked about this, but I put it up there. What do I mean by closed figure? It says a closed figure that has 3 or more sides. What does closed mean? We have one over this. When I say closed, Rock,
No opening.
it has no opening. Remember, a shape that doesn't have an opening. So there's one, and here's one, and here's one. They don't have an opening. They're closed, and it can have 3 or more sides. So it has to be a triangle or bigger, right?
That square has an opening.
Because I didn't draw it good, but thank you. Can you make a polygon with 2 lines, 2 sides?
No.
No, you can't. Because that's why it says 3 or more sides. This is the first polygon we can make because that's a triangle. If you only have 2 lines, you cannot make a polygon. Polygon is closed. Okay, right angle you should know. There's a picture of it. Makes a perfect square in the corner. Right triangle just means that we make it a triangle. Obtuse, angle. And then a parallelogram, you all know, is a quadrilateral. What does quadrilateral mean? No. Stop. Okay, raise your hand. Tell me what a quadrilateral is. Just a quadrilateral. Andre.
A shape that has 4 sides.
A shape that has 4 sides. That's it. A shape that has 4 sides is a quadrilateral. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with 2 pairs of parallel sides. And then a trapezoid is a quadrilateral with only 1 pair of parallel sides. Question? Zero.
But a polygon, you can use 2 things because you can put a line, you can go like that. That's going to be 2 lines. You can just keep them going with the line.
And like that?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Miss Masters, do you know?
A polygon has to have straight sides.
Okay. So it has to have straight sides. So does that have straight sides? But good question. I'd have had to look it up if our math coach wasn't standing here. But I would have. Okay. Now, this is your task today. We're creating a map. Remember, right over there, it's on the board, so you remember what we're doing today. We are going to use what we know about lines, angles, and shapes to create a map. So in just a minute, I am going to give you this map done. There's a picture of it right here. And then you will have this on your desk in just a second. You will also have these set of directions. Rock, you will have these set of directions. I've done a few of them for you. So, what I want to do first, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, take one of this down. Okay, so what you need to do when you start going through these directions is we're going to mark off when we get something finished. Okay? And so you should have a pencil because I've done a few of these for you so that we're going to go through these and mark off what's already done for you. Okay. So look up here. 4 streets that are parallel to each other. I've done that. Look at this map. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the map. Thank you. You know where pencils are. I know. Okay, so let's start at the top. Somebody read to me that first direction of what we're supposed to do. Let's read that to me, Madison. Does this map have that?
Yes.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4. What did parallel mean?
They don't ever touch.
They never touch. So do those streets ever touch?
No.
No. So go ahead and mark through that because that is done for you. Go ahead and mark through that on your direction so you know not to do it.
Can you just check it?
You can just check it. Yes, sir.
I know.
Okay. The next direction say what? Preston. Okay, one road that is perpendicular to the 4 parallel streets. Do we have that?
Yes.
Yes. Where's it at?
But we haven't labeled it.
It's not labeled. You can label it though. Go ahead and label it. How did I name the other streets? Parallel street 1, parallel street 2, parallel street 3, parallel street 4. So what could we name this one?
Perpendicular street.
Perpendicular street. Go ahead and name it. Very good.
Mark that off.
And you can mark it off or check it.
Do we need to put a number by it, Miss McFalls, or no? Perpendicular street.
Why do you think that I numbered these streets? Because how many were there? 4. How many perpendicular streets?